This is The Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen Yeon, a new South Korean cyberpunk action drama from director Yeon Sang-ho. Set in a future torn apart by civil war between off-world colonies, a corporate institute researching artificial intelligence hopes to use a cloned copy of a once legendary soldier's brain for use in android fighters by extracting her memories of combat. The project, whose team includes the soldier's own daughter, is having issues trying to unravel what led her to fail in her final mission, though a breakthrough is made when parameters are changed and new brain activity could hold the secret to unleashing her full potential. However, when the company chairman pivots development from military to domestic household use, it not only becomes a question of the morality of using this data for such purposes, but how to escape this fate with dignity intact. While that may sound complex up front, the movie doesn't delve too much into these sorts of themes or topics. They are present, of course, but the crux of the story is less about these transhumanistic elements and more about the soldier and her daughter, specifically the latter reconciling with her role in this research, given the circumstances that led to her mother joining the army in the first place. It's an interesting backstory and a conflict that is put to the test several times over, even if it means simplifying the rest of the film's story and characters for their sake. The Civil War itself is more of a backdrop to their story, not to mention the surrounding world and the various pieces we get to see of the universe and how it works. This story is just one piece in a larger puzzle, so to speak, and getting a glimpse of the big picture only leaves us wanting more. This can even be found in some of the characters, one of whom has a trait which I won't spoil, but could have easily bled into these other elements. Either way, almost every other thematic aspect ultimately gets glossed over, especially in the final act where there's more time spent on action sequences than anything else. It still makes a great use of cyberpunk aspects, but the tone almost changes entirely, as if the filmmakers weren't completely sure how to end the story, rushed it, and defaulted to some flashy fight scenes instead. On a production level, the movie is certainly impressive in its visual makeup, firmly cementing it as cyberpunk. It might be more concerned with bringing out as many of these visuals as it can, though, in the sense that it wants to load its scenes with a hefty amount of this art design without building upon it, letting it exist before moving on to a different location. I suppose that since a majority of these places use CGI, it's only natural to push it to its limits, but it still feels like they wanted to give the film more than it needed. As for the technical elements, there isn't too much in the way of stylism or creative expression. There are a handful of clever or artsy shots, but not enough to show a true sense of style across the film. Editing is even less inclined to aim for something unique, with a standard rhythm within scenes and between cuts. There are quite a good number of special effects, though it wouldn't surprise me if these were part of the film's greater purpose. Overall, I would say that it's rife with missed potential. Every time it has a good idea, it either chooses to leave it undeveloped, or shrug it off, or ignore it, or otherwise go ahead and move on to something else. It makes the case that this world is worth exploring, then steps back in favor of something more familiar, but less innovative. Yeon, Yeon Sang-ho, 2023. 2 stars. I wouldn't really recommend it, unless you wanted inspiration for your own cyberpunk story or universe. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. subscribe to the channel for more reviews. I do mean it when I say that this could serve as inspiration for other cyberpunk stories, visually at least. It's not afraid to wear its own influences on its sleeves.